declaring Mantic Moments. My turn's not for sharing. I'll never forget the moment my orcs became a green tide. La 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 la.
Hi. Welcome to Episode 2 of ManticMoments. I'm Robert Alexander, and we have a few changes to mention before we get right into the episode. We've decided to, Max and I have decided to change the structure just a little bit, partially from feedback on the forums and partially because we felt that it's better to do it now rather than later on and confuse people then. So, obviously, the intro has changed. The less said about that, the better. But we will be having roughly 4 sections of each episode. One is the introduction, which is this bit. And we'll also have a new section, main topic or topics after that, and then a wrap-up of the show. And we'll probably play around with that format a bit and see what suits us best. But for now, we're going to have those, and we are going to put in timings for each of those sections and where roughly each thing in those sections starts. So, for instance, if it's a tournament report and it's day 2, we'd have a timing so you can like immediately pop in and start listening to day 2 so that you don't have to feel like you have to listen to the whole bloody episode in one go. Because, to be honest, even though we've gotten some feedback saying some people love short episodes, some people love really long episodes, we're going to make an episode based on whatever it is we can make an episode about. So we could have short episodes, we could have long ones, and we don't feel it's a good idea to move it about to try and make it fit some kind of artificial timing. So hopefully that'll work. And speaking of tournament reports, we actually, this week, our main topic is that we interviewed John Martin, who went to the Mantic Invitational back in September. And he basically played 6 games and, participated in a mini tournament. So we're going to talk to him about that and see what he thought about the rules and about the event itself. And of course, that's for Kings of War 2. That is pretty much everything I need to tell you for the introduction. So hopefully people enjoy this new format. And if you have any comments or suggestions or questions or all those things, just contact us on Warseer or the Mantic Fanatics Forum. I'm Bert, or on Warseer I'm Bert and Ernie, and Max is Lord Marcus on both of those. So just let us know, and we'd be happy to hear it. So enjoy the episode.
And we're back. Hey everybody, so this is going to be the news section of the second episode of Month in Mantic. So what has happened lately as far as Mantic goes? Well, they had Essenspiel, sorry for the pronouncement there, over in, I believe it was Germany? Somewhere in Europe. And they released Warpath there, or at least showed off all the new stuff, which includes the Fate of the Forge Star box, the Twilightkin army sets. I believe they only had a couple of the army sets there because they had the 6 on the website from the test run that they were selling. I don't know if they had any at Essen, but I assume they did, so they had that. Alessio was there, Ronnie was there, Jake Thornton was also there for Dwarf King's Hold. Speaking of Dwarf King's Hold, there are rumors going around that there is going to be a new addition or update to Dwarf King's Hold, expansion, Let's say that. But it's not going to be a full-fledged expansion with new races and new rules for those races. What it's going to do is apparently expand upon the 4 races already in the game, elves, dwarves, undead, and orcs, give them new units, and bring out rules for 3 and 4 player games. What this is going to do, combined with the other 2 sets, is going to give you a much bigger game scope than you already had. So you could basically play like a campaign of Dwarf King's Hold games over like a weekend, where you could say like the dwarves were battling through the undead hordes to meet up with the elves so that they could crush the orcs or what have you. It really gives you a big amount of scope. So that's a rumor going around. Another rumor would be that the Twilight Kin are coming out in, I believe, early January. That is a rumor. We really haven't gotten an exact release date from Mantic, as far as I know, at the time of this recording. So, in other news, Warpath, like I was saying, Warpath has come out. We've got the Forge Fathers and the Orcs. The Fate of the Forge Star box, which is the starter box, has started to ship already. They've showed pictures of pallets of this box set in the warehouse, ready to be shipped out. So it's shipping already. And the Forge Fathers are actually looking really good. Now, they've reused the sprue of the Dwarf Iron Watch and basically the Dwarf Range sprue and put on sci-fi parts for the Forge Fathers. Now, this normally has been taken up with a bit of sadness because people expected a full new kit, but after the Marauders came out, it wasn't really that hard of a surprise to bear, because we knew that the Orcs or the Marauders had their own issues as far as reusing sprues. Now, I think they look cool. I can't. It's an aesthetic choice. I can't say if you'll like them or not, but I definitely give it a check out. Go on to Mantic Games website and check it out. On the blog, they have pictures of 2 different paint schemes for the Forge Fathers, which have been painted by the first 2 Mantic Pathfinders. Now, what the Pathfinders are going to be is like the Privateer Press gangers. They're basically going to go around and do demos for Mantic of Kings of War and Warpath. Right now, I believe they're just setting up the system, and the UK Pathfinders have been notified. There hasn't been really any word on a US or Australia or rest of world system yet, but there is apparently a list, because my name was added to that list a couple days ago. So apparently there is a list. But yeah, as far as it goes, the Pathfinder system, they're just getting it readied up. So if you guys want to get a demo in or want to help spread the word of Mantic, definitely send an email to info@manticgames.com to see about getting in on the Pathfinder system. That's pretty much it in news.
Okay, and welcome to our second month in Mantic. We're actually joined today by John, second name unknown, I just realised. John, what is your last, or are we using your last name?
It's Martin, but obviously everybody's probably going to know me better as Garu.
Yeah, okay, so a lot of people will know him as Garu on the forums, but it's John Martin, and he is going to be joining us to talk about the Kings of War Invitational that started near the beginning of September. But first, let's just hear about his month in Mantic. So do you want to fire away, John, and tell us what you've been up to for the past couple of weeks or a month?
Let's see. Painting an army for the Invitational, funnily enough.
All right, nice one.
Yeah. Okay, it wasn't Mantic models, but they don't make the ones I was using yet, so I kind of had to make do with what I had. That's pretty much been the whole focus of the last, well, say 3 weeks now. Well, not including the last week, so the 3 weeks before that.
Okay.
And then since then, it's been going over the new rulebook and working out what the next few armies are going to be.
Wow, you paint pretty fast then.
Sometimes. It depends on work schedule and whatnot. Obviously, I had a really good start to the year when I was off on paternity leave, a couple of weeks holiday booked, and Max is going to remember this.
Oh, yeah.
I did about 100 undead models in January alone.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then someone, who will remain unnamed, challenged me to paint 200 models in February.
Yep.
And they challenged me that they would paint 200 models quicker than I would.
And so, I attempted.
You did, yeah.
And the only thing that screwed me up was school, because finals were coming up in the next week and I had to stop. But I got close. I got to about 180.
And how many of them are based now?
Okay. We were counting it as painting.
Yeah, but it's not finished. It's not finished till it's based.
I'm going to have to adjudicate on this here, guys. I'm sorry, Max, but basing your model is mandatory.
In your
I usually do it at the end, guys. I can't help it.
Well, the end would have been like the 28th of February?
No, when I've got all 200 painted, I base
them.
No,
you usually got them finished then.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
So it was a good start to the year. About 300 models in 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which kind of set me up. It was a fair chunk of army. I mean, half of that was zombies, but I'll need to get another. I don't know. It's either going to have to book another holiday, or I'm going to have to get her pregnant again. So I've got a couple of weeks off work to paint up some of the other 400 that I've got left. And she's giving me a funny look now. But I think she quite likes the idea.
Yeah.
Oh man. So basically, you've painted hundreds of zombies, and then you moved on, and you painted about 50 to 100 werewolves.
No, it wasn't that many.
Okay, right.
It was about 30.
Oh wow.
Wow. 30, yeah.
Okay.
20 figures.
20 werewolves and 10 rogues.
Oh, there was actually some non-werewolves in that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Haven't you seen the pictures?
Yeah.
Do your research, man.
I did my research. I looked at the pictures, and all I could see was wolf heads. So,
see, funnily enough, the wolves have wolf heads, and the werewolves have wolf heads.
I know, it's one of those bizarre twists of fate that I just haven't quite gotten my head around. So that's really, really impressive. I'm guessing that you haven't actually been up to anything else then, no?
I moved house. Had a baby. Not personally, personally, yeah, but not physically. So that kind of slowed everything down. So it was good to add the full start here. I mean, what I'm doing on Warseer is I've got this thread running where I'm trying to paint an average of one model a day, Mantic models. So it's still sitting at 300.
And which thread is that?
365. Screw GW or something. This is Mantic, or Screw Sparta. This is Mantic. Yeah.
Screw Sparta. This is Mantic. I know it.
Yeah, I've actually done a bit more. It was obviously blow my trumpet here. I had stuff I did for the open day, which I haven't counted because it wasn't painted for gaming purposes. It was painted more as display pieces.
Okay.
So I didn't bother counting that in the total as well. But there was 5 Revenant Knights and the Vampire on Pegasus and something else, a Dwarf Berserker. But I haven't counted them. So there was another 7. But yeah, kind of. I'm not worried. There's still good 3 months left in the year, so 65 models shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yep.
I should actually, yeah. I'll It is. I'm guessing that is everything, because if it isn't everything, I I don't think we can even fit it in the episode anymore. So we'll have to. I don't know. That's really impressive. I mean, to be fair, it's the past year, but still, I can't even come close to that. So, Max, how about you?
Oh, I mean that's just Mantic.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
I mean, I do some occasional work for the local Games Workshop, like some stuff for the windows and that. Obviously, I've got my own commission painting now as well. So I've been doing that. Yeah, and just bits and bobs here for people as well. So
Excellent. That's really impressive. Well done. How about you, Max?
Well, this month has been hectic because, as I told you before the episode started, I had 4 essays due the last 2 weeks, so it has been extremely hectic trying to get those done. Otherwise, I have mainly focused on clearing my building desk of all the sprues. So I've been building all the stuff that's on the sprues and putting them on my to-be-painted desk. So, I've built a War Sphinx. The guys that were on the War Sphinx, bunch of Skellies, and a bunch of Wargames Factory Persians that I've converted to be musket men, pretty much. Oh, and I've been building my, how do you pronounce this? Rebenduo warband for Brushfire, which is extremely fun. They are really good models that Emily and the rest of the team at On the Lamb Games have put out, but there is one fiddly bit, and that is the Kunoichi. She has 2 daggers, and her arms and the hands are separate, so it's 4 pieces, 5 if you include the body, and it's just
6 if you include the tail.
Oh yeah, the tail too, and it's extremely. It was frustrating for about an hour trying to put her together, but I dealt with it. So other than that, I put together some more War Master stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I've never managed to buy it. Every time it appears, it becomes too expensive.
Yeah. Well, I got $200 and some odd worth for $20 at Gen Con, so I bought it all, and I put together a Sphinx today. So it's quite a bit different from the new version of the War Sphinx for 28 mil, but it's still quite interesting for a 1980s some odd metal model.
Okay, great.
Can I just add a couple of things there?
Yeah, sure, please.
Indeed.
Sure. Right. Well, obviously with the Kunoichi, however you want to pronounce it. I would look at the same issues, but again, a 0.4mm pin works wonders in the hands.
Yeah.
And for the War Master, if you're having trouble getting some, there's a company called Callistra who do 10mm fantasy stuff. And basically, there's a lot of counts as or proxy units that would work for War Master.
Okay.
I mean, I've got a dwarf arm myself, and they do some pretty good deals where you actually get 4 bases of guys in a blister pack. So 3 blisters is giving you 4 units.
Yeah.
And they do all sorts of deals where like you get 6 blisters for 30 quid or something like that. So building up a big army it's nothing really compared to War Master GW prices.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, what we might do is actually stick that in the show notes. Of course, we will actually have to create show notes to do that, but we can accommodate. So yeah, that sounds fantastic.
The podcast is an internal work in progress.
Hey, don't tell anyone that. Shush.
Internal, continual, infernal. What one?
Eternal,
right.
I'd prefer infernal if I'm honest, but okay. So I guess that's left with me. Well, funnily enough, I actually just moved house as well, and I'm in my old house right now, and there's not much left here, so it's kind of been up in the air, but I have managed to paint a few different undead cavalry, and apart from that, I've been making a Blood Bowl board, and halfway through moving, I discovered my missing Blood Bowl board that was being replaced. So now I have 2 Blood Bowl boards. But that's pretty much my month. Yeah. That's it, really. So
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's been hectic, but a lot of fun making that, actually. So I think we can wrap it up there, and stay tuned for the rest of the show.
All right, guys, we are back. This is going to be the section for our interview on the Mantic Games Invitational Tournament that happened at the beginning of September. To talk about it with us, we have John Martin, otherwise known as Garu on the forums. Hey, John.
Hi.
And basically, we're going to go through what happened at the tournament. John is going to tell us about the games, the question and answer stuff, and we're just going to go through it. So, anything you want to say, Robert, before we start?
Yeah, so obviously we want to know about the Invitational, but first, can you tell us what it was that got you into wargaming? Just to build a bit of background for the audience.
Sure. Let's see. I think, well, going way back, it would have been a television advert for the old MB game Hero Quest, which featured miniatures by a company called Citadel. I think I was kind of about primary 7 at school, primary 6, primary 7, so about 10, 11 years old. I'd just finished reading The Hobbit, which I'd loved, and I saw this TV advert with orcs and fireballs and shit like that, so it kind of hooked me. And it was basically one of these run up to Christmas things where I begged every single day to get that game for my Christmas. It was kind of, I don't even want anything else, I just want this game. And that was it. Yeah, that was kind of the first hit of the addiction, basically.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, most of the time.
All right, so what about, I mean, obviously this is kind of a tournament, so what other wargaming tournaments and events have you been to before?
I've done a few of the Games Workshop conflict tournaments in Scotland. The first one I ever went to, actually, I came 3rd overall in the 40k heats with my World Eater army, but due to an administration error, the prize was handed out to someone with the same surname but a different first name. Went by. I think I've done it about 3-4 times playing 40k. I never quite got to those heights again. And I've done it, I think, once for Warhammer. It was kind of a spur of the moment decision. So there wasn't really any thought went in it or any sort of side. I'm not really a tournament gamer. I'm not hugely competitive. It's kind of having a family, having a job, all the rest of it. I've got some gaming time. I want to sit down. I want to have some fun. Don't take it too seriously. You're a grown man playing with toy soldiers.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
I see what you're saying. So basically, you do have a lot of experience with events, but you wouldn't be quite the tournament gamer. So that's really good to know before we actually start asking you things. So.
Oh wait! I need to tell you how good I am at War Machine as well.
Well, to be honest, since 40k isn't a real game, you have to have some credentials.
Yep.
Well, see, War Machine's quite a funny one because I'm quite good at that. Right, at least I used to be MK1 War Machine and Hordes. I do have the signed Hordes rulebook for being the first person to win a Hordes tournament in Scotland.
Wow.
Courtesy of Black Lion Games in Edinburgh.
Congrats on that.
Cheers, man. Much to the press ganger's disgust, as he'd refused to buy a rulebook because he was sure he was going to win it. And I do have a pile of sort of best of faction coins, which I like using as focus points to intimidate people. And some gold cards as well, which obviously is a prize when you come first. Every model in your army you send away to Privateer, and they send out a sort of gold-edged version card for you for each component in your army. So I have about 3 sets of them. So yeah, 3 tournament wins.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you do have the experience. So
Well, yeah.
you definitely have a competitive mindset in some places. So
No. It's very simple. It boils down to you run at them as fast as you can, you hit them as hard as you can, and that sums up tactics for me.
okay, well that might explain some things because we were going to ask you. I mean, obviously you got the Kings of War version 2 rules in advance,
Yep.
and we know that you chose a fairly alternative army. So do you want to tell us what it was and why you chose that army in particular?
Right. Well, it was an undead army, although technically it was an unarmy because there was nothing dead in it. And it was 10 werewolf troops, 1,500 point total. So obviously you can do the maths there.
Yeah.
And basically it was because, well, one, I badgered the hell out of Ronnie to put werewolves into Kings of War.
Which,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two, I love werewolves. Anyway, I always have done. It was one of my kind of aspirations as a child was to grow up to be a writer or a werewolf. And I don't think I've managed either. It depends how often I shave though, but I quite often want the writer look. And yeah, that was kind of it. And so thirdly, it was more a thank you as well. It was like, you've actually listened to me or just actually caved in. You've put them in the list because I've been so demanding about it. So it's a thank you. It's quite an extreme army, although you could say it was themed or balanced even, because I've got 5 units of werewolves here and 5 units of werewolves there. So
Okay.
Speaking of werewolves, can you tell us anything about the unit sizes and stuff, or is?
Yep. Well, they're large infantry, and sort of the common convention now for large infantry would be a single model, troop of 3, which counts as a solid unit, and a regiment of 6. But it's the same as large cavalry.
Okay, so like ogre type size stuff.
Yeah, ogre type things, werewolves, golems,
Right.
forest shamblers as well.
Ah, okay.
All right.